is Abdul Rahman. I'm a lecturer at a public university in Kenya. I deliver lectures in computing and informatics. In our last lesson, we actually talked about array element access. We have seen that an array can be accessed using up an array name and an index. So if we have got an array which has got 5 elements, we have to actually access the first element using up an index of the name of that particular array. If it is an array A with an index, so the first element will have index 0. So today we are going to go on into another concept of an array and ask ourselves, how do array element inserted? So basically on that particular journey, we are going to define how array are inserted, and then we are going to have an algorithm and finally implement that particular algorithm. So let's start up with the first one, how array are actually inserted. So we are saying that array, they are inserted when actually they are uninitialized, and when they are initialized locally. We have seen in our previous lesson that when an array it is actually uninitialized locally, then it holds what you call garbage values. It holds garbage value. So let's take for example, if you've got an array A and that particular array A has got 5 elements, so if you actually initialize it in that particular manner, we have, without giving up some value, then automatically the compiler gives it garbage value. So here we'll have a garbage value. So we want to see how are we going to insert some element on this particular array which was not initialized, only declared. So that one actually will take us into the algorithm itself, and this particular algorithm, so if you are given an array size, so this is an array you are given for, in our case, if this is the array which we are given, then we are going to do what? We are going to loop. We are going to loop to capture, and we are going to loop and insert all the elements until the end. So we are going actually to loop using up a loop, and we are looping where? We are looping through our array. So in this particular case, we are going to loop here onto our first element, and then loop in the second element, third element, fourth element, 5 element, and 6 element. So we are going to loop, and we enter all our elements from element index 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we are going to loop through until we enter each and every element. Then after looping, we are going also to loop again, and this time into our array, this time to display. Now we are going to loop again, and actually this time we are looping to display this particular item. So here we are looping again to display each and every element one after the other until the end of that particular array. So basically that is what we are going to do. So in our implementation, basically we are going to have to ask up a user. So when we want to implement, basically we are going to ask a user to enter the number of elements, because this is an initialize. So the first thing, we are asking the user to enter the number of elements, and then we are going to use up a for loop, and this particular for loop will have some counters actually to loop through until the end part of it, and then increment it. And then here we are going to use up the scanf to capture our elements, and then basically we are going actually to use up another loop, and this particular loop will run through, and then we're using up a printf to display. So basically this is going to be our implementation. So let's go to dev C++ and see how we can implement. So basically here we'll have up our array, which is actually initialized into a garbage value. So it is actually initialized into a garbage value, and we give it maybe a size of 50, and of course we'll have our num, which to tell our user what to enter. So we'll have our printf. In this particular printf, we are telling up the user to enter the number of elements to be inserted. So here our user will be asked to enter the number of elements to be inserted. If it is 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on. So we terminate there, and then we are using up a scanf to capture our elements. So here basically we're using up a scanf, and it is of data type integer. So format specifier, it is %d, and then we're using up the ampersand sign to capture it, and here we are capturing our number. So if a user say I want to use 5, so we are taking up 5. Then basically we are going to ask a user printf, and this time we are asking a user to enter those particular 5 elements. So this is how the syntax will look like. So here we say enter our 5 elements. So give it up a space to enter those particular 5 elements, and those 5 elements, they are coming up from the num we actually declared up there. And then now here it is the time we are putting up our for loop, our first for loop to capture our 5 elements. So here we'll have up int I, that's a counter, equals to 0. So it start up to 0. It start up from 0, and we are saying I should be less than n. That was our 5, and then I should loop through and increment all the time it does I++. So basically that is what we are talking about there. And then we have our opening and closing curly bracket. So from here we are just capturing, so we are using up our scanf, and in our scanf basically we are saying it is %d, that is the type, and we are capturing from our array. So here we will have ampersand array, and our index will take all the indices from 0 to 4 if we are putting up a 5 element. So from there now we want to print whatever you have captured. So from here, so we are saying printf. In a printf, basically here we are saying enter your element. So here we are saying the element which were entered. So element inserted. So the element inserted are, so it's going to give us our element which are inserted basically, and from there we are putting up our for loop again. to capture everything that we have done, which you have captured. So int I again should be actually from 0, and our I should be less than n, or it is num, not n, so it is less than num. So here also you have to change, it is less than num, it should be less than num, and then basically we are having I plus plus. So from there we are opening up our curly bracket, and then simply now we are just printing. So print f, what are we printing? We are just printing our items which have been captured. So will be %d, and we want to print them in such a manner that they come up on a horizontal manner. So we put up a new line, and finally here we are putting up our array, and we are passing on our counter inside there, and that will print up everything. So that is basically our logic or our algorithm, how it has been implemented in C++, in C programming. So let's run this particular program and see what will be our outcome. So we have run this particular program, and actually prompts to us, enter the number of elements to be inserted. And we are saying we want to enter only 5, so only 5 elements. So they are telling us enter the 5 elements, the first one. So the first one maybe it will be 50, and then the second one maybe 60, the third one maybe 100, and the fourth one maybe 90, and the last one maybe 45. So it tells us that the element inserted are 50, and that was true, 60, 100, 90, and actually 45. So actually this is how we implemented an array which are inserted into a particular array, and that is actually comes out to the end of our lesson, until on to our next lesson, whereby we are going to discuss multi-dimensional array. And for now I say goodbye. However, don't forget to subscribe onto our new videos. Bye for now.